It's weird that administrative hearings can have such a large effect on our lives, but we don't know what they're about.
An administrative hearing is a hearing that's done one-on-one.
Okay.
So it's a hearing officer and a responding student. The purpose of it is to address any charges that have been leveled at a student.
Okay.
To share with the student the report that came in from the staff so that they understand the information that was initially presented.
Mm-hmm.
And that led to the charges.
Okay.
And then to get the student's perspective on what in fact occurred. And then ultimately the hearing officer needs to collect all of that information and figure out, is it more likely than not that there was a violation of our code of conduct. For certain cases, they may go to a conduct board hearing. And in those cases, that's a decision, that's a process that's administered by between 4 and 6 faculty, staff, and students. Mm-hmm. And those people act as a hearing officer does in an administrative hearing. In cases where maybe the facts are pretty muddied, mm-hmm. Where things are pretty gray, where the consequences could be pretty steep for a student, and there are some other random but extenuating circumstances.
So as a resident assistant, you're responsible for not only the students that occupy your floor, but those within your area. So I am a resident assistant of the upper suite, so I oversee Winnisquam, specifically Winnisquam 1, and then also Shakora. Mm-hmm. So if I were to run into an incident where there was overoccupancy, which is when there are more than 6 people in a room, and say for instance they had marijuana, substances, or alcohol, we would first need reason to knock on the door. Mm-hmm. I can't just knock on your door, for example, and say like, yo, Ruth, like I know there's something in there. I need to either hear something, smell something, or have probable cause, kind of.
Yeah.
So I'd knock, and then we'd ask the students to vacate the premises who were not residents there, because as I stated, there are only allowed 6 people in a hall. Yeah. I mean, in a room. So if I were to ask the residents to leave and then I smelled marijuana or I saw substances such as alcohol or paraphilia, I would then have to call the resident director on duty, which is like my supervisor, and then I would have to call over the radio to public safety. And at that point, it's no longer it's my responsibility, but it gets kicked up to above me, if that makes sense. So I would have to write an incident report, and then from that moment on, I have no jurisdiction over what happens.
Tell a student, best case, right, is that there's no responsibility found for anything.
Okay.
Right, and so I've wasted somebody's time by bringing them in. I think, typically students for alcohol issues, which are the majority of cases that we hear, tend to get anywhere from a warning, a reprimand, which are finger wags and slaps on the hand, to probation from residents, maybe even probation from the university. But probation essentially is thin ice that you can be on. Worst case scenario is that a student could be expelled from the university without the ability to return. The university operates its own conduct process according to the agreement that we have with students and as outlined in the student handbook. Our process is separate from anything that happens in the criminal justice system. So, time, relatively low level kind of issue probably isn't going to derail future plans to go to med school, right? But if you've got a history of misconduct and it's from freshman year through senior year, you're painting a very different picture for somebody who checks your background.
I think the school should tell us what's going to happen when we do X, Y, and Z, rather than just letting us figure it out when we get in trouble.
Oh my gosh, I just realized it says good right there. So that means you're a good student, that you don't have hearings.
I am amazing.
Can I have someone else wear the shirt that says bad?